Let's discuss emotionally immature parents. Emotionally immature parents are parents that lack emotional intelligence. They are not the most mature mentally. They are not the most mature emotionally. They do not behave age appropriately. Emotionally immature parents really can stifle a child's growth and development because it's an immature person raising a child in immature ways. Emotionally immature parents neglect to teach their children things that they need to learn about life. They neglect to guide their children in ways of helping them see life in a certain way and navigate through their life. They don't teach their children, they don't guide their children, they don't help their children navigate. It's a very broad topic, but let's go ahead and briefly discuss some of the things that emotionally immature parents do. One thing that they do is they yell instead of talking. They yell and fuss at their children instead of talking to their children. They do this to establish control. You see, emotionally immature parents think that if they can hold control over their child, that equates to parenting. But parenting does not equate to control. Parenting is about leadership. It's about nurturing. It's about loving. It's about being kind and gentle. It's about being empathetic. It's about being attentive. Emotionally immature parents are intimidating. They're not nurturing. They don't nurture their children. They're not kind and gentle in their approach. They're very intimidating in their approach because they feel that they have to be that way to exert some type of power and control over their children. They don't know how to embody a person of power. So they have to force their way to gain that power by overexerting themselves in a way. This looks like them talking at their children instead of talking to them, which is a very poor approach because it is not well received by the children. You see, emotionally immature parents, they will not create a safe space for the child's vulnerability. The child won't be able to be vulnerable with their parents because the parent does not know how to handle all of those emotions. An emotionally immature parent cannot handle their own emotions, so they cannot handle the emotions of another person, including their own child. An emotionally immature parent cannot emotionally regulate, so they won't be able to help their child emotionally regulate themselves when they are emotional. Emotionally immature parents can withhold nurture, affection, and attention. They can withhold nurture by not loving on their child when the child needs to be loved to teach them some type of tough love. They can deprive the child of affection when the child wants affection or needs affection. And they can deprive their child of attention by not being as attentive to them, by ignoring the child and disregarding the child. Emotionally immature parents, they also ridicule and criticize their child without trying to seek to understand their child. They just criticize them and ridicule them and belittle them and put them down, all because they just don't understand their child. But instead of them getting to understand their child, they just belittle them. They do this because they do not know how to understand their child. They do not know how to understand the emotions of another person. They do not understand other people. So when they're looking at their child, a person that they don't understand. When they're looking at their child, a person that they don't really understand, it gets them flustered and it gets them frustrated. And instead of them helping the situation, they make the situation worse because they do not know how. The thing about emotionally immature parents is that they damage their children unintentionally because they do not know any better of how to be as a parent. These parents are truly ignorant in a lot of cases, just truly lacking knowledge and lacking wisdom. And when they lack knowledge and wisdom, they don't know how to behave in certain situations. And even when they don't understand the child, they can shame the child for not being understood. Emotionally immature parents even ridicule their child for showing emotion. If they're angry or crying, they get shamed for showing their anger or showing their sadness. You're not supposed to cry. Don't show that anger. Not allowing the child to express their emotions authentically and freely. Lastly, emotionally immature parents emotionally neglect and abandon their child. They are not emotionally available with them. They are not attentive to their emotions. They're not attentive to their growth and development. They are not attentive to their emotional and mental state of being. And when a parent is not attentive to that part of a child, the child is abandoned and the child is neglected in that sense. Because emotionally immature parents can't attend to the emotions of their own self, so they cannot attend to the attention they can't attend to the emotions of another person, including their own child. Emotionally immature parents tend to fail their children because of their lack in knowledge, because of their lack in wisdom.